on a press call a couple of days ago, and we were announcing the release of the Sierra Club's support for a strong program to protect workers when they're in the middle of transition from energy changes, from different changes in the economy. And there were some reporters on, and some of them we thought were our friends, good liberal news publications. All they wanted to talk about were our divisions. So what do you think, Mike? What do we do about the problem of people wanting to harp on divisions instead of on what we agree on?
All right, well first, welcome everybody. It's good to be here again. One of the favorite things that Leo just said was when he talked about the original vision of the Blue-Green Alliance was around stop the bullshit. I think maybe it would have been a better name than Blue-Green Alliance. Stop the bullshit.
My word is stop the fucking bullshit. Sorry, Dave.
So I think if you get on any conference call or any call with reporters, and when you talk about alliances between environmentalists and labor, this will always come up. And every time that it does, whether it's Dave or Leo or myself or anybody on this panel or anybody who has a leadership position in either part of the movement, we'll almost always talk about the 95% of what we agree on. But since it's just us, I think we owe it to ourselves to talk about the 5% in the areas where we don't agree. Because there are going to be times where we disagree about a particular project or a particular bill or a particular issue. Leo and I don't agree on everything. I don't agree with my brother on everything. My wife doesn't agree with me on many things. And what you find is that sometimes disagreements can actually bring you closer. If you're honest, and if you're forthcoming, and if you actually get at the heart of what a disagreement actually is, and if you're able to talk about your values or your vision, what you're actually fighting for, you find many times that the disagreement is a lot smaller than what you originally thought. But if you don't talk about it, then it can fester, it can get bigger, and it can break a relationship apart. So, what the Sierra Club over the last couple years, we have made a change in our thinking, in that we realize that the first thing we need to do is to declare what it is that we're for. I've been at the Sierra Club for about 4 years now, and soon after I came on board, I flew out to Pittsburgh to have dinner with Leo and Dave. And Leo sat me down, and after a couple of drinks, he talked about environmentalists. And he started the conversation with, you know what's the problem with you environmentalists? Which is always a comfortable way to start a conversation.
Right.
And he says, you know, I hear you're against coal, and you're opposed to it because of its impact on greenhouse gas emissions and what it does to the air and water. And I'm hearing lately that you have big concerns about fracking because of what it might do to air and water and what it might do to climate. I know that historically most of the environmentalists have been opposed to nuclear power because of concerns about proliferation or nuclear waste or the mining of uranium. And I know that you also increasingly have concerns about large wind installations or maybe even large solar projects in the desert. So what the fuck are you for? Did I get that right? And it's a fair question. There's an environmentalist, there's a reporter for the New York Times. His name is Andy Revkin. And he likes to say, he's been reporting on environmental issues for several decades, won a number of awards. He's got a good, clear eye on the challenges that face our country, holistically, social, economic, environmental. And the way that he often talks about environmentalists, people with whom he associates with, writes about, respects, and works alongside of in many ways, is he says there's two different ways to describe environmentalists. One is that many people have this attitude of, woe is me. I'm an environmentalist and I know that the climate is changing. I know that the impact of civilization right now. We're depleting our forests faster than they can be replaced. We're deteriorating our air and water, threatening our climate. And I'm the only one who knows about it, according to many environmentalists. So it's this insufferable attitude that some folks have. There's another attitude, which is shame on you. You know, blaming other policymakers or blaming other countries or blaming certain parts of society, blaming one party or another or one decision maker or another. And so at the Sierra Club, we are working to add a third category, which is that this could be awesome. And it's to look at fighting climate change or protecting our environment not as an obligation, but as an opportunity. Not as something that we've got to do, but something that we get to do. Because there are, as Leo said, and as Dave has said many times, there are millions of jobs in energy efficiency, where we save money and produce jobs by making the environment cleaner. In repairing our pipeline infrastructure, water and gas, where we save carbon emissions, we save scarce water resources, we save money, we put people to work, and we protect the environment at the same time. We're orienting ourselves around the Sierra Club around a vision for an economy that is 100% powered by clean energy. We know it'll take a long time to get there, but we want to be 100% powered by clean energy. And in that, as we get there, we are 100% committed to doing this in a way that is good for workers, good for communities, good for workers' rights. And so we find that the best way to bridge the differences when we do disagree about a particular plan or a project or a pipeline, when we do disagree, to be honest about it and to share exactly what our concerns are, why we have those concerns, where we're flexible and where we're stuck in the ground. But more important than that, we have to be much bigger in our ambition, much bolder in terms of what we're shooting for, and to unite around an aggressive vision for restoring workers' rights, for expanding the job space here in the US, and for building an economy that works for everybody. And those two things in combination, honesty and a bigger ambition, I think is what gets us through some of the difficult times.